Is India's growth story too bitter for the International Monetary Fund? I'm being forced to ask this question. Case in point, the International Monetary Fund's big allegation. The IMF is accusing India's central bank, or the RBI, of excessive interference in the foreign exchange market. In other words, the IMF claims that the Reserve Bank of India is trying to influence the level of the rupee or manipulate its value. What's the basis of this allegation? The rupee's value between December 2022 and October 2023. The IMF is pointing at the fact that the currency moved within a very narrow range. It neither fell too sharply nor did it rise steeply. This, the IMF claims, is indicative of the RBI's intervention. The Washington-based lender has gone to the extent of reclassifying India's foreign exchange regime. In a report released on Monday, India has been classified not as a floating system, but a stabilized arrangement. What's the difference? You see, in a floating system, a currency's value is determined by the foreign exchange market based on the demand and supply of that particular currency. In contrast, in a stabilized arrangement or fixed regime, the government of a country, through its central bank, determines the rate of the currency. So where does India really sit? Let's talk facts. No country in the world sits back and watches its currency take a roller coaster ride. Full disclosure, every central bank intervenes. How can they not? It's a question of economic stability. It's about volatility. The allegation against the RBI is of excessive intervention. India's central bank is calling the IMF's assessment unjustified. For starters, the period that the IMF is basing its assessment on is too short. The RBI has told the IMF that it is using data selectively. Because if you look at the rupee's movement over 2 to 5 years, then the assessment and allegation both fall flat. In 2022, India's currency, the rupee, fell about 8% between December 2022 and October 2023. The rupee lost around 2% against the US dollar. Bloomberg estimates the RBI interfered to the tune of $78 billion through those 9 months. India's $604 billion foreign exchange reserves seem to tell a different story. Despite the intervention, India's import cover is still close to 2021's all-time high of $642.5 billion. What gives then? Was the IMF's assessment in bad taste? Is India's growth story not sitting well with the IMF? Contrast India's economy with that of America. One has repeatedly been called a bright spot. Another has repeatedly been predicted to slow down significantly. Banks have had to close down. Sensex and Nifty 50 are recording all-time highs. They are making global headlines. America, on the other hand, is making bad news. Here's one from an American media outlet. From powerhouse to afterthought, US Steel, once a symbol of America's economic might, set to be sold to a Japanese rival. See the stark contrast? The IMF assessment comes in the light of this. And let's not forget, the IMF's America bias is no secret. And the naysayers of India's growth story are plenty. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.